Welcome to Cruise Ship Crime Investigators, the book series. Book 2, Serial Killer.
Chapter 29. Roll with it. Wild Mary paints a blue wave under the hull of a previously painted ship on the inside glass of her restaurant window. "Mary, why don't you leave it to us?" a young male student, Croc, suggests. "You saying I'm messing up your work?" "Not my work." He hits her with a huge, cheeky smile. Croc is one of the many black students who spend most of their out-of-college hours in the diner. He is protecting Macy, who is intricately painting detail to the top of the ship. She is an artist. Her dungarees are paint-stained, and her hair is in a bun with brushes pushed in it. Cruise Ship Crime Investigators is the perfectly written main line, with the smaller case, meeting and waiting area, underneath. "Stick to banging holes in the walls, Mary," Macy says. Mary puts her brush down. "My sea looks damn good." Through the window, she sees a news TV scanner with a satellite dish on top circle in the car park. "Finish up, we got visitors. Put something on the jukebox and dance like Mary taught you." She rushes outside. "Build it and they will come." The detective's window next door is painted black, with a large arrow pointing to Mary's. Under it, it says, "Inquiries and waiting area next door in Wild Mary's." A reporter jumps down. A cameraman follows. "Welcome to Wild Mary's," she enthuses as the media team arrive. "Is this the right place?" the reporter asks. "It's been the right place since I opened it in 1999. You're Janie E. I've seen you on TV," Mary says, encouraging her and the man in. "It's about time you see me on TV." Janie E. is hesitant. "Are the cruise detectives here or in the Pacific?" she asks. "You're talking to the cruise investigator's office manager, Wild Mary. And maybe you should meet Stan." Mary has them hypnotized. "Who's Stan?" "The man at the grill who's going to take your order," Mary says, leaning out to see another truck parking. "Luckily, you got here first. Take a seat over there." Mary sits them at a table just far enough away from the newly painted window to avoid discovering it was done just seconds earlier. Janie instinctively noticed the cleaning cupboard door, which is now matte black, and wears the sign, Cruise Ship Crime Investigators. "I need a quote from them." "They ain't in there. When they call, Wild Mary gonna give you the phone first." "I need," Mary cuts her off, "a menu. When you order, I put the phone on your table, and that make you the first. But if the next team comes in and orders first, they get the phone." She holds up the CSI landline phone with its long cable stretching back to the investigator's office next door. "Wild Mary, I need a quote," Janie annoyingly insists, "or I will make something up. I need to go with the story tonight." "Any quote will fill my diner with reporters and cameras. Then you'll be in a long queue to get the truth." Mary gives her the menu. "Talk about my diner, and you get the scoop." Mary walks over and invites a second camera and reporter team in. With an even bigger smile, Jane E. goes straight to the counter and places her order with Croc. Croc gives her the telephone. "Guard that with your life. Our boys just parachuted into the Pacific, and they'll be ringing as soon as they get settled." The cameraman wanders about filming B-roll. First the phone, then the sign on the door, the grill, the dancing, the feet on the floor. Finally, he gets to Janie E. sitting over the phone at the table. "I'm next door to the Cruise Crime Investigator's office, just west of Dodge Island, but conveniently near to this great diner, Wild Mary's. The crime busters have just been parachuted into the middle of the Pacific Ocean, but Wild Mary has entrusted us with the CSCI phone, while she, in true cruise ship style, is ensuring the guests dance, have fun, and good food. We will have a murderous cruise exclusive as soon as they ring. Janie E. for WBX 25 News." Chapter 30. DJ is the ticket. Kieran sits on his bed, haunted by the thought of the Crow's Nest Lounge. It seems madness to change into a dress suit this late. He looks at his watch. It is just 10 o'clock, and in half an hour the magician Paul Lopke, who he met on the last ship, is doing a show in the theatre. Those guests won't arrive up in the lounge until 11:30, when the quartet will have started their final show. He could be there long before then. He just needs to change. The suit is the ticket that will allow him anywhere on the ship without causing attention. Dress the same and vanish. He takes the suit from his closet. Redressed and ignoring the elevator, he jogs up one flight of the guest stairs. Walking towards the lounge, he begins to relax. He is on holiday for a couple of hours. A waiter offers to find him a chair, which is hardly necessary because the room is far from full. Kieran opts for Eric's favourite stool at the bar. He switches his phone to silent to respect the jazz quartet on the small stage. There is a pianist, drummer, double bass player and a flutist, which could easily have been swapped for Bogdan on his saxophone. These musicians must all be part of the orchestra because a comedy magician is on the big stage. They are not required downstairs. Kieran claps as the drummer finishes his solo. The pianist comes in hard for his moment. Kieran turns and speaks to the waiter. "I'll have a red wine." "No, I'll have a beer." Chapter 31. Raindrops. Ruby is uneasy in her cabin. She too looks at her watch and decides it is far too early to sleep. She dials Kieran's suite on the house phone, but it rings out. She decides not to leave a message. She stands and looks at her formal white officer's uniform with stars on her epaulets. What a waste. She goes to her smartphone and rings his cell. There is no answer, so she texts, "I thought I was tired. Are you still up for a drink?" Kieran is enjoying the music and has ordered his second beer, quicker than Eric's routine. The quartet finishes to a light applause. The pianist addresses a small crowd. Thank you. I didn't realize you were here." Kieran sees what a soulless job it can be, being ignored every night. "I have a quick appointment with Mr. Jack Daniels, but I will be back at 11, as it says in my contract. Then the band will rejoin me at 11:15, and we play till midnight." "Can you play any Burt Bacharach?" a woman shouts from by the window. "No," the MD shouts back almost rudely as he leaves the piano. "All his great songs have important horn parts, and we have no brass with us tonight." "You don't need horns." "To do any of those songs justice, I certainly do, and I would not insult a good friend." "He's your friend?" "I knew him when he was married to Carol Bayer Sager. I played with him." "Wow," the woman replies, focusing more attention on him. The musical director walks to the handrail on the upper section of his stage. "Do you know what Burt Bacharach's favourite song was?" he asks her. "Raindrops?" "No," he says, now holding court. "Jack Daniels will have to wait." "Prince, does this happen every night?" Kieran asks the bartender. "No, it's normally my show. He's ruining it. But it is a small audience. He can have them." Kieran can see there is much more that goes on than is in the daily event. The MD has a story he wants to tell. "You know that none of the artists Burt wanted to do Raindrops would touch it? It was offered to Bob Dylan. He said no. Ray Stevens said no. The ones that did record it were never his favourites." "Do you think all this is true?" Kieran asks the barman. Prince shakes his hands and face in a theatrical no. Kieran can see the attraction of this bar. The characters are fun. "Alfie. He wrote it in 3 weeks and it was his favourite. the musical director reveals. You play it, I'll sing it, the woman challenges. The MD is stopped in his tracks, but only for a moment. There are bar stools all around the piano. If you're here when I get back with a double JD for me, I'll play it. Deal, she shouts. He leaves for what is now his short break. Where's he going, Prince? Where do you all go for your break? Prince indicates down. Lido deck. Chapter 32. Nightcap. She can actually sing, Kieran says, standing and applauding loudly. Never underestimate a guest, Ruby says, clapping and sitting next to him. The MD stands and bows to the surprised guest after her amazing rendition. You could see why I could not play that alone on the piano, the MD announces. I thought you were off to bed, Kieran says to Ruby as they sit next to each other on bar stools. Well, I was already dressed to go out. I changed my mind. What about you? I wanted to sit where Eric sat, be part of his community. In that case, it's a good job I joined you. Why? Because you can't see things through a woman's eyes, Ruby says. There is some truth in that. Ruby offers her card. Large Merlot, please. My card, Prince. And send the MD a JD, Kieran says. Ruby turns to Kieran. Why don't you have a woman in your company? We do. Wild Mary. Who the hell is Wild Mary? Good question, but shouldn't we be taking things in? Now, can we do raindrops? The guest singer ventures. No, the MD says firmly. He won't play raindrops, he doesn't like it, Prince chimes in. Do you listen to everyone's conversations? Kieran asks. Of course. Then I need to interview you. It will have to be in your cabin. I have bunk beds. Ruby puts her empty glass down, the wine too easily finished. I'm done. I only came for a walk. Would you like to come back to my suite for a coffee or a nightcap? They've given me a full bar, Kieran asks boldly. Ruby shakes her head. We could take the cruise stairs and investigate. No, you have a wander down the stairs, Ruby says. She stands, nods good night, and leaves. I could come down and mix us cocktails, Prince says. Not tonight. Kieran finishes his beer. The evening is enjoyable, but the room reveals nothing other than its attraction. He leaves the bar and turns down the short corridor. He stops by the fateful door marked Crew Only. He turns, looks down the rest of the corridor towards the elevator. If he rushed, he might catch Ruby and try and convince her of that nightcap. No, he knows the steel steps lead to his suite. He should walk that safe, no romance at work route. He opens the door and steps into the steel cave. He feels a hand on his neck. It pulls him back, and his legs are kicked up. He lifts. He is in the air, higher than he might be if he had stood on an improvised explosive device. For a few seconds, his life is a series of flashes with no reality. He drops, hits the steel hard. Crash. He feels pain. He fights to stay conscious, to look up at the assailant, but he blacks out.